I call to order the City Council meeting on this 25th day of March. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Julian.
Here.
Councilwoman Wilson.
Here.
Councilwoman Powell.
Present.
Councilman Leon. Here. Councilwoman Baskin.
Present.
Vice Mayor Stevens. Here. Mayor Harris.
I'm present.
You have a quorum.
Please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
God our Father, we thank you for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for the opportunity to come together, God, and ultimately discuss business that ultimately affect our people. It is in this moment we pray for your knowledge, your wisdom, and your understanding that you grace my colleagues and I with as we deliberate about business and continue to move this great city forward. It is in this moment, God, I pray that you continue to bless the city of Miami Gardens, its residents, stakeholders, and everyone that calls this beautiful city home. Open up your windows of heaven and pour out your many blessings upon our lives, and we'll forever be grateful for your grace and your mercy. It is in your Son's name I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're on approval of the minutes. Mr. Clerk, did
Yes,
you have
Mr.
any
Mayor, I have
minutes?
before you the March 11th, 2026 City Council meeting minutes for your approval.
All right, I need a motion on the minutes.
Motion.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Showing none, show the minutes are approved. We're on order of business. Are there any items need to be pulled, deleted, withdrawn?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have two add-on items. First one, add-on item number 1, supporting the annual Autism Superpowers Family Fun Day sponsored by Councilwoman Wilson. Without objection, we ask that it be added to regular resolutions as item 12.3.
12-3.
And the second add-on item, this is a special presentation by Councilwoman Powell. Without objections, we ask that it be added to special presentations as item 6.1.
Special presentation 6-1.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to withdraw item 12.2.
Item 12.2.
Yes.
Anything else need to be added or deleted?
I don't have on my agenda. It's in the consent agenda. I have some ready for it. It's a consent agenda for the theme of education.
Which one?
With this one.
You want to pull that
It was on the consent agenda.
right here?
Yeah, that's the
11-1?
Yeah, isn't that the one about the schedule?
Yeah,
Yeah, I like to pull that.
11-1. And Councilwoman Wilson wants to pull 11-1.
What item was removed?
12.2 was
12.2.
withdrawn. 11-1 was pulled. And the add-on item was added on as 12.3.
And there was a special presentation.
And a special presentation was added on as 6.1.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was 13 point, the zoning thing. All right. Then we're on special presentation, 6.1.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
can we get a motion and a second?
Oh,
to
I'm
vote on?
sorry.
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of adopting the agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Showing none, show the agenda in place. We're on special presentation 6.1. Dr. Powell.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to share with the council as well as the residents something that's happened so special this weekend. We were proud to have Boxing in the Gardens held at Bunch Park. We had over 7 state represented coming to South Florida. Not only just South Florida, to Miami Gardens, Bunch Park. Most importantly, we had the community come out to share the experience and learn a different type of physical fitness. I invite the community and council to consider hosting and holding its own boxing gym. I present to you Boxing in the Gardens.
Park in Miami Gardens. This is the first time that we are hosting this amazing championship event featuring a number of boxers from all over the country. Boxing is about health and wellness. It's about focus. It's about learning how to develop self-confidence. Boxing is an amazing sport that helps build discipline. Boxing in the Gardens here at Bunch Park.
Boxing in the Gardens. Boxing in the Gardens. Boxing in the Gardens. Boxing in the Gardens.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to share.
Great job. All right, we're on public comments now then. Does the clerk please read the back of the public comment card, please?
Okay. Citizen participation is governed by Section 2-60 of the City of Miami Gardens Code. Public comments are limited to matters within the scope of the jurisdiction of the City Council. Each person other than members of the city staff who address the City Council shall give their name, address, and whether the person is speaking on his or her own behalf, a group of persons, or a third party. When in the determination of the presiding officer there are many persons speaking to speak on the same proposition, the presiding officer may direct these persons designate a representative to address the City Council rather than all members of such groups. All speakers shall be limited to 2 minutes unless further time is given by the presiding officer. No person other than City Council members and the person having the floor shall be permitted to enter any discussions without the permission of the presiding officer. Order shall be maintained if any person becomes abusive, obscene, and or disruptive, or otherwise fails to comply with the orders of the presiding officer and is declared out of order, the individual may be subject to removal by the Sergeant at Arms.
All right, council, let's govern ourselves accordingly, and we expect the standards of Miami Gardens to be respected on both sides, from the residents and this council. So the first people that will be up will be Ariana De La Rosa, Khadijah Roll, and Maya Passmore. Remember, guys, we got 2 minutes. Please come up and state your name and an address for the record.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, and residents. My name is Ariana De La Rosa, and I'm a proud junior at Miami Norland Senior High School. It is truly an honor to stand before you today as your newly crowned Miss Miami Gardens team. First, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the City of Miami Gardens for your continued support through this program. This experience has been so much more than a title for me. It has helped me grow in confidence, leadership, and purpose. I would also like to extend a special thank you to our Vice Mayor Robert Stevens III and Councilwoman Katrina Baskin. The way you show up for the community and invest in young people like me truly makes a difference. Because leaders like you, young women like me, are given opportunities to discover who we are, step into our purpose, and believe in our potential. This journey has inspired me to continue striving for excellence. As I look toward my future, I aspire to be a cardiologist and attend Spelman College. One day, I plan to return to Miami Gardens, not only as a doctor, but as a servant leader, someone who gives back to the same community that has poured so much into me. And who knows, maybe one day I'll be sitting at this very table as a councilwoman or even as a mayor.
Yeah.
Because tonight, I'm not just standing before you as a teen with a title, I'm standing before you as a young woman with a vision, purpose, and a promise to come back and serve. Thank you again for your support, your belief in this program, and your investment in the next generation of leaders. It is an honor to represent the city of Miami Gardens. Thank you.
You did that. Good evening. I am Keandra Rowe, your newly crowned Miss Miami Gardens 2026 and a lifelong resident of this beautiful city. To call Miami Gardens my home is truly a blessing. From my early days at Norwood Elementary to graduating from Miami Norland Senior High School, go Vikings, this city has shaped me into the woman I am today. Miami Gardens is more than just a place to live. It is a community filled with love, support, and endless possibilities. It is a city that pours into its people and in return inspires us to give back. It is without a doubt the place I will always be proud to call home. I would love to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to the City of Miami Gardens and all of our sponsors who supported the Miss Miami Gardens Scholarship Pageant on March 14th. Your investment in young women like me does not go unnoticed. I would like to give a very special thank you to Vice Mayor Robert Stevens for being our title sponsor, and to Councilwoman Katrina Baskin for your sponsorship of the teen winners. You all saw something in us that is priceless, and you have truly inspired my sister queens and I. Thank you, guys. Since being crowned, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't done, so sorry. I was just, expressing it again, sorry. Since being crowned Miss Miami Gardens, I have had the honor of attending events and meetings just as this throughout the city, and I have seen Miami Gardens on a level I had never experienced before. It has opened my eyes and filled my heart with so much joy to witness firsthand the dedication, passion, and excellence that each of you brings to this community every single day. I'm so excited to announce that we are now preparing to represent the amazing city of Miami Gardens at the Miss Florida pageant in Lakeland, Florida this June. Prayerfully, I am blessed to move on to Miss America stage and to represent the state of Florida, and throughout it all, I carry the city with me. I carry our values, our resilience, and our pride. My goal is to continue pouring back into this community just as you have all poured into me. May God continue to bless you all so you guys are able to bless others as well, just as you are blessed me as well. It is truly an honor to stand before such faithful, passionate, and committed leaders. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, turn that way. I give you your Miss Teen Miami Gardens and Miss Miami Gardens. Yeah, we could clap. Clap for them. And we have another Miss Golden Glaze. She's not here tonight, so we'll have her come in. And is she here? Miss Golden, huh?
She's Miss Golden Glaze teen.
Miss Golden Glaze teen. Come on up. You want to say anything? You welcome. Can't be shy now. You represent Miami Gardens.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Karma Gibson, and thank you so much for sponsoring the Miami Gardens pageant. It means a lot. This is my very first pageant that I've ever won, so I'm super excited to help serve my community and move on to Miss Florida. Thank you.
All right. Now you stand out here and get your reward. Miss Golden Glaze. Y'all give it up for Miss Golden. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, guys.
After Ms. Passmore, it's going to be Mr. Tisdall and Ms. Moore Taylor. Taylor.
All right, good evening. Maya Passmore, 16350 Northwest 40th Court. I invited the community to come out and speak, in support. If I invited you or you're a part of any group, if you don't mind standing at this time. And stand later. This is just about solutions. This is not for the other thing, but just showing just solidarity and community, okay? So I've been here just speaking about issues and just things that I wanted to address in Miami Gardens, but today I wanted to talk about solutions for our city's future. We want Miami Gardens to be a leader in smart city technology and public health. I'm calling on your council to modernize our residential corridors with 4 key initiatives. One would be AI-driven traffic mitigation. I'm proposing a 21st century system that uses AI sensors or monitoring traffic volume in real time, so we don't have this question of whether or not we have true traffic issues. Permanent air quality monitoring. I'm asking the city to install free permanent filtration and monitoring stations from FIU's Air Study. We need the data to track cumulative emissions and protect the long-term health of our children and our families. And at no cost to the city, FIU is ready to work with us in the city. The Omega Way Safety Initiative is a recommendation. We have officially submitted a letter of support from the Sigma Alpha chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated for traffic safety mitigations on 42nd Avenue to address existing traffic issues. And it also ties into the 120 petitions that you all received in relation to existing traffic concerns. So if you're able, the question is, are you able to, one of the things that they want to address is calming devices or speed bumps, digital speed signs, enhanced street lightings, crosswalk buttons, and traffic enforcement efforts. And then the last is a public health oversight committee where we believe it should be a resident-led committee that allows us or local experts or combination of neighbors and experts to weigh in on different environmental issues. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Maymon Tisdall and Ms. Kadava Moore Taylor.
Good evening, Mr. Tisdall, 17031 Northwest 11th Avenue. I'm not going to keep commenting about the 4-way stop sign. A couple months, I'm going to be 70. I think I'm going to get killed over that. I do want to make my birthday. I done brought it to the presiding officer's attention several times. I told y'all that that's Formula One racing. You don't have to wait till May. It's over there by my house. All you got to do is send police officers over there to patrol the area. Number 2, we got to stop making this party city and make this a business city. I talked to Mr. Abraham again, the one you gave the presentation to. He told y'all, listen to the residents, what they saying, because he old school, just like I am. I admire what he do when he used to work at the Miami Heat with the basketball and everybody took pictures with him. Listen to what we're saying. Don't just let us come in for 2 minutes and say, oh, we got rid of them to next 2 weeks. Be a part of the solution. Hear us. Get some officers at that corner. I told Captain Joseph tonight, the peak hours are 8 a.m. to 10 and 3 p.m. to 5. I'm just asking for some help, Mayor. That's it. Write it down, pass it along, and just stop brushing it. Everybody got to stop brushing underneath the rug. Because like I said, in 2 months, I'm going to be 70. I want to be here. I don't got caught in the middle of that road plenty of time. because they just fly right by and don't have no real cause about the stop sign. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tisdale. We want you here for 72.
Yeah, I hope so.
Miss Taylor or Mr. Taylor? How do you pronounce your first name?
How you doing? My name is Kedar Taylor.
Kedar Taylor. Okay.
900 Northeast 195th Street is my address. So, my lineage in Miami.
You can adjust the mic.
Oh. My fault. So my lineage in Miami goes back to the 1800s, right? As far as I know, my great grandmother is from Miami, correct? So there are tens of thousands of descendants of freedmen in the city of Miami Gardens. What plans do you have that are directly beneficial to freedmen descendants or freedmen/descendants of American chattel slavery in the city of Miami Gardens?
We're not going to answer that question tonight. Send that information to me in an email, and we'll look it up and see what's going on.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Ms. Deborah Wright, Rhea Hughes, and Gail Cunningham.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Deborah Wright. My address is 20062 Northwest 36th Court in Miami Gardens. On February 25th, 2026, I spoke about the abuse that I was suffering at the hands of George Wright and his employees concerning the minor home repair rehabilitation program. At that time, Vice Mayor Stevens asked Mr. Craig Clay to look into the matter. I have a dog. I had a dog named Lena. She died in 2013. If Mr. Clay contacted me, so did Lena. Okay? So that lets you know. I want you to know that what he did was return my complaint back to the people that I complained were abusing me. I I've never heard of a state program that requires you to give them a copy of every insurance policy on your family members. I don't know of one that requires you to explain why you transferred money from your savings account to your own checking account. These are the stupid things that they ask me. I can tell you that I am a senior regional leader with Primerica Financial Services. I have my life insurance license, and if I gave them a copy of my life insurance policy, they wouldn't even know what to do with it and would not understand it. I'm appalled at the disrespect from Mr. Clay. I've sent you all a copy of a request for records to inspect public records under Florida Statute 119.01. It says that any person can inspect those records, and you all have a copy, including Mr. Benson. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Wright.
Reed Hughes, 3335 Northwest 180th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056. Good evening, Council. Tomorrow, March 26, 2026, marks a year in which residents and others witness the unprofessionalism and unacceptable behavior displayed by Councilwoman Wilson in this chamber and in the lobby of City Hall. Public service requires more than holding a title. It demands composure under pressure, respect for differing viewpoints, and accountability for one's action. The dais is not just a seat of authority, it is a place of public trust. This agreement is expected, but disrespect is not. Residents are not obstacles. We are not inconveniences. We are taxpayers, voters, and stakeholders of this city. The city of Miami Gardens is a strong, proud, uniquely diverse, and resilient city. Its residents deserve leadership that speaks to them, not down to them. Because at the end of the day, this chamber belongs to the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. After Ms. Cunningham, it'll be Ms. Brown and Ms. Malcolm.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council persons. I am Gail Cunningham, 19001 Northwest 14th Avenue Road, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33169, a resident of the uniquely diverse city of Miami Gardens. I am one of 113,000 residents of this city, a city I am proud of with all of its strengths and works to change weaknesses to strengths. All goals are not easily achieved. All objectives are not easily attained. Appropriate self-behavior is a task we all work on every day. It is possible to recognize inappropriate, unacceptable behavior of self in settings and acknowledge the need for corrections moving forward. Therefore, I say to you, Councilwoman Katrina Wilson, please, let's not ever position the residents and stakeholders of our fair city to witness in disbelief the behavior and actions displayed before March 26, 2025, April 9th, and etc., captured for all eternity in this chamber and our City Hall lobby. Be the change of what is unfortunately etched in the memory of others. I will not forget being called an idiot in the lobby, Councilwoman Wilson, as were the other residents, by a publicly elected, public servant, steward of taxpayers' monies. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham.
Denise Brown, 19821 Northwest 2nd Avenue, Suite 187, Miami Gardens, 33169. I want to respectfully respond to the concerns raised by Katrina Wilson regarding residents who attend city council meetings. Residents show up because we care about our neighborhoods, our families, and the future of the city. Public meetings are one of the few places where residents can directly engage with their elected officials, voice their concerns, and advocate what matters most to them. My presence, the presence of others, reflects a commitment to civic engagement, not disrespect. While tone and decorum are important on all sides, it's equally important for residents to feel heard, valued, and respected when they participate in the democratic process. Constructive dialogue requires mutual respect. If we want stronger communities, we must encourage, not discourage, people from showing up and people from speaking out and being involved. I remain committed to advocating for my community and the issues that matter most to the resident. No penalties are needed. We will not be silent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine Malcolm, 18910 Northwest 31st Avenue, Miami Gardens, Florida. The flyer came out this week, and once again, our city's main Juneteenth celebration is not going to be held in Miami Gardens. It's being held in another city, in another county. And I want to be clear, that's a problem. Miami Gardens is the largest black city in the state of Florida. Juneteenth is not just another event. It's a recognition of freedom, of history, of struggle, and of progress. It is part of who we are, yet somehow the very city that should be leading the celebration is not even hosting it. The city slogan is Miami Gardens is where you want to be, but if that's true, then why isn't it where we celebrate Juneteenth? Why isn't it good enough to hold one of the most important cultural and historical events for our community? To move this event out of the city again is an affront to the community. It is tone deaf. And it raises a real question. What is the goal here? Is the goal to be seen, to go viral, to end up on platforms like the Shade Room? Or is the goal to educate, to elevate, and to honor the history of chattel slavery and the hard-won freedom that so many people lived through? Because Juneteenth is not about appearances. It's about remembrance. It's about the reality that people remained enslaved for 2 years after they were legally free, simply because they did not know. When you move an event out of the city, you create a barrier. Not everyone can travel out of the county. Not everyone can afford rising ticket prices, and not everyone should have to. We have the parks, we have the spaces, most importantly, we have the people. And at some point, we have to stop outsourcing our culture and start investing in it right here where it lives. Because at the end of the day, this is about respect. Respect for the community, respect for our history, and making sure that the people of Miami Gardens are not an afterthought and something that is meant to honor them. Because if Miami Gardens is not the place to honor our own freedom, then where is? Thank you.
Thank you. No. We do this when we upset. We do this when we happy. Any other public comments? Any written communication?
Mr. Mayor, all written communication received has been forwarded to the Mayor and City Council and will be an exhibit as a part of the minutes for this meeting. I sent y'all written communication.
Ask for point of privilege.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
a point of privilege, please.
Go ahead.
To be clear, that the gala for Juneteenth is being held where it was held last year, and the remainder of all events connected to Juneteenth will be here in our city. And once again, half information and a false narrative. And never once did a phone call come to me to ask for clarity. Not once. Not at my Meet Me Monday, not in my office, not once. And I would have given you what we are planning to do as a slate. But of course, again, the information is misleading the people, and that's just not the case. That's number one. Number two, when we look at the facilities that are required for what the gala offers to honor the citizens of Miami Gardens and the other, we don't have the facilities to be able to accommodate the number of participants. Did you ask? No, you did not.
The other public comments cards were for item 13.2, so you guys will be heard on 13.2. There's no item ordinances on for first reading. No ordinances on for second reading. No resolutions. We're on the consent agenda, correct?
Yes, we're on the consent agenda, Mayor.
I need a motion on the consent agenda.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Showing none, show the consent agenda pass.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Can I, before we move on to the item that was pulled by Councilwoman Wilson, or add-on items, I know we just passed the consent agenda, and our police contract was on that consent agenda, and I just want to take a moment. It's not on the consent agenda?
It's not on the consent agenda.
I'll wait until we get to 12.1.
It's not, it's 12.1 or 12.2?
12.1.
12.1.
Okay.
I'll wait till we get
Moving
to
too
12.
fast. Moving too fast. All right, we're on 11.1.
11.1, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorize the city manager to evaluate the city's current operational schedule and provide recommendations regarding a potential 5-day operational work week or hybrid schedule to enhance public access and service delivery, providing for adoption or representation, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Councilman Reggie Leon, and this was pulled by Councilwoman Wilson.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes. Is there a timeline for the completion of this?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
For Mr. Benson?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Councilwoman, the question again?
Yes. Is there a timeline for the completion of the report to be submitted?
In the item itself, there was not one. If the council has a timeline within mind that you would like me to follow, I don't have a problem with that.
Well, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
To the city manager. I prefer you give us a timeline that you think you can adhere to based on analysis. This will require a study, I mean, not a study, but, from your side of the spectrum on what a 5-day work week looks like. What could we handle as a city? As you know, this city has grown from 11 years when we went to a 4-day work week to now coming back to a 5th-day work week. And like the item says, it could be hybrid or whatever, but
sure.
I would suggest that you give us that time frame for you to be able to make that analysis with you and your staff.
Okay.
If
Mr.
you're
Mayor?
okay with that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
But can you give me some time to come back at the next meeting? I'll give you an idea of what that schedule could be.
Okay. Yes. I really am concerned about the timeline, and I really want to get a sense of how and what departments would be most affected by it. And the reason why I'm concerned about it is that we do have a lot of events in our city. And I know that there are some departments that working 4-day weeks are unimpacted by it. Mm-hmm. But working a 5-day week for some departments that may have to end up working 7, like parks and public works, that an adjusted set schedule might be conducive for their employees. So that possibly, whatever recommendations that come about, I want to know, what kind of effective date and time will we be looking at, so that all of the events that we do, we can kind of make adjustments in terms of preparation.
Okay, sounds good. I'll bring some ideas of what those time frames could be at the next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Real quick, Mr. Mayor.
Good. Go ahead.
To the manager. When I wrote this item, it was the intentions on dealing with, I know we have PD, we have parks, we have public works, code enforcement. Some of those operations already work 5 to 6 days a week. This item was for, what I had in mind is for our residents that have to come in and sometimes get permits, and they work 5 days a week. So being able to have this flexibility. So I wasn't looking to impact the city overall. That's why I said maybe it's a hybrid or whatever you can come up with. But the main focus was for that the residents will be able to come in and get some of the services downstairs that they may need.
Right. Sounds good. That's understood. That's not a problem.
Are you guys good?
I moved the item.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Showing none, show the item pass.
All right, we're now on to resolutions. Item 12.1, a resolution of the City Council, City of Miami Gardens, Florida, ratifying and approving the collective bargaining agreement, the Fraternal Order of Police, and the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, for the period from October 1, 2025 through September 30, 2028, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the City Manager.
Mr. Manager.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members, before you is the FOP agreement with our sergeant and our police officers from 2025 to 2028. Mayor, before I make my recommendation, I would like to yield to the president of the board for FOP, Exo Genti, for the city of Miami Gardens to say a few words. It is my understanding that the representative from FOP is unable to attend tonight, so I know that Exo Genti is here. If you can say a few words, and then from there, Mr. Mayor, I'll go from there. Thank you.
What's his title? Good evening, Mayor and Council and Charter officers. Before you is the union contract with the FOP and the City of Miami Gardens. I want to thank each and every one of you all. Special thanks to the city manager who negotiated this contract on behalf of the men and women of the Miami Gardens Police Department in good faith. I would like to note that about 50% of this contract was actually negotiated prior to us actually going into negotiations. So what does that mean? That means once the union came over and took over as collective bargaining for the police officers, the city manager sat with some of the members of the board and addressed some concerns prior to the union stepping in. And some of the items in there were things that just needed to be updated and changed. So the officers are here. They're grateful. They're going to continue the service and the commitment, to the city. But we want to just come here and personally thank you all for listening to the officers, understanding their concerns, and putting public safety as you all's top priority. And again, I thank you, Mr. Manager.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah. I'm laughing because I was wondering what all the police officers was in here for tonight. So now I understand.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, they just, Mr. Mayor, the officer said that there's strength in numbers.
Yeah.
And so
okay.
they know that the
All
vote
right.
would come before you all today, sir.
So are you guys satisfied?
I'll let the officers let you know for themselves. Are you guys satisfied? So.
All right, Mr. Manager. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, I want to take a couple minutes just to thank the board led by Exo Genti. They put in a number of hours going back and forth in negotiating this contract. Certainly, all negotiations are tough and they're hard, but both sides really worked hard to get to where we are today. So I want to compliment the board members who served with Exo Genti regarding these negotiations. I also want to thank the officers and sergeants that are here tonight, because certainly they are the most important piece in this agreement. They're the ones that put their lives on the line every day, each and every night. And so I want to thank you for having the confidence in the city and to put together a contract that makes sense financially for the city and it makes sense financially for you. But overall, it's all about public safety, and you all be able to provide the type of services we need to ensure the safety of our city. I certainly want to take this opportunity to thank Allison Smith. Allison, would you please stand up? Allison is our outside counsel. She's been in the grind with us since day one. So Allison, thank you so much for your leadership and assistance. Certainly, Deputy City Manager Craig Clay, Melissa Negron, HR Director, and Sandy Ruiz, they played a vital role in providing the information we needed to get to the final day of an agreement. And I just really want to thank everybody. It was a tough tow at times. I thought at one time they were going to put my name and my face on a billboard or something like that, but it didn't work out that way, so I'm happy. But obviously, Mayor and council members, I want to thank you. We brought a contract to you. I believe we hit probably every note that you guys wanted to see on this sheet of music. And I'm happy to recommend this contract moving forward. And I just want to thank everybody for your patience. It takes a while to get to where we got to, but it took patience and understanding and respect. And I want you to know I appreciate each and every one of you from that perspective. So with that, Mayor, I'm happy to recommend this contract moving forward to the council. And I appreciate everyone, and thank you very much.
Yeah,
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I move the item.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I just want to say thank you for the city manager and the PBA for everyone for what you did in coming together to make Miami Gardens safer. We really appreciate the work that you do to keep Miami Gardens safe. And more than anything, this contract for the residents makes us competitive to be able to attract even more qualified, highly recognized police force that will continue to make Miami Gardens the safest place to live in the state of Florida. Thank you so much, and thanks to the greatest police department. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. Leon. I do want to take this time also, you guys have literally put your lives on the line from October 1st, 2025 without having a contract. And you trusted us to get this right. You trusted us to take the time out to get exactly what you needed. And I am one of the most hardest people when it comes to calls for service and making sure that, you know, we are responding to the calls when our residents call 911. And to be able to see this contract today is well deserved. And again, we thank you. I thank you personally and appreciate your service.
Vice Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you as well. You all know how I feel about you and our public safety, our police department. I believe you're the best department in the entire nation, and not because I'm elected to serve or not because this has been my home since I was born, but because you all are really a fine group of, what would you say, Mayor? The mayor said that was yesterday. But you all are a fine group of men and women that serve with your heart. So I just want to say thank you publicly for your service. Thank you for your commitment to keeping Miami Gardens safe. Thank you to our amazing chief of police for her leadership, her and her entire team, for all that you all do on a daily basis. Thank you, EXO, for your leadership and everyone that has something to do with bringing this contract to us this evening. Greatly appreciate each of you, and I wish you God's blessings upon your lives. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I need to thank the chief as well. I'm sorry, Chief. I'm sorry, Chief. I got caught up in the moment, but I want to thank you for your leadership. There were a lot of pieces that were moving. And every time I called her, I said, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And she responded. So I do want to take this opportunity to say publicly, thank you, Chief. I appreciate everything you do. I like your leadership. I think we've been able to, over the last 6 months, change some of the things that we're doing in the police department. And, you know, sometimes when you're a chief, sometimes change is difficult. But I want you guys to know that the chief has accepted some of those changes. And we're doing some good things in the police department that are going to complement what they do every day on the road. So, Chief, congratulations. This is really the stepping stone that you needed to do what you wanted to do. And I appreciate the times that I called you 1, 2 o'clock in the morning to say, this is on my mind and all this. And you woke up and answered my questions. I surely appreciate that. So thank you very much. But it's hats off to the entire department. And, you know, so if I forget someone, I apologize, but hats off to the entire department and being a part of this whole process. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I just want to say to you guys that all of you are some of the finest people that I know and have known in my entire life, both in and out of uniform. To see you on the street, whether it's in a grocery store, at an event, whether you are in or out of your uniform, you are stellar individuals and a blessing to this city. So what you have received, you have earned, and it is well deserved. Continue the good work. Thank you. And I echo the sentiments of my colleagues. Saying thank you to each and every one of you is just simply not enough, and it wasn't enough. And to see you put on that uniform and that badge and to risk your life every single day for us, for the community, for the residents, I mean, deserves a round of applause. And so this contract has been a long time coming. And I want to thank the city manager and his team, the chief. I want to thank you all for expressing your concerns, not being afraid to express your concerns. The reality is that health insurance cost is through the roof. The reality is that as time evolves, so should our policies. The reality is that you all showed up to work every single day with a smile on your face as we worked through this contract. So I know I've addressed the 3 Ps, Mr. Manager, on many occasions, publicly and privately, and for those of you who may not know, that stands for Parks, Police, and Public Works. We've had concerns about recruitment and retention and salaries, and I'm happy that our police department now has a robust and attractive recruitment and retention system in place. And with that being said, again, thank you, Cam. Thank you to your team. I want to thank the City Council for always listening and taking into account not just the feelings of our residents and the concerns of our residents, but the concerns of our employees, because they help this ship move. To Allison, our labor attorney, thank you very much. And to the best chief of police on this side of town, thank you so much, Chief. So, Mr. Manager, I say to you, 1 down, 2 more to go. Now let's get working on a robust and attractive recruitment plan and a retention plan for Parks and Public Works. Let's continue to move Miami Gardens forward. Thank you.
I echo the sentiments. My colleagues have said it all. Thank you to you all for the work that you all do each and every day. I feel absolutely safe in my community, and I have you all to thank for that. So continue to do the good work.
Let's give him a round of applause. We definitely appreciate everything that you guys do and have done, and this is a good contract, I think, and we look forward to you guys making sure that the city continues to be safe. We appreciate you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I may, I just want to give some special recognition to some of our board members who work tirelessly day in and day out to make sure we arrive to this point. Sergeant Alex Barney.
Alex! Oh, my bad.
Officer Henry Payout. Officer Joshua Diaz. Sergeant Joseph Marinella. The Vice President, Natasha George. And Sergeant Jimmy Sanchez, who ensured that our finances stay in order for the board. So, and what I've learned throughout this process is, you know, you have a good contract when both sides are not happy, and this is how we know we got a good contract. So I just want to again, Mr. Manager and your staff, just thank you very much. Thank you again.
Yeah, y'all got a good contract. Now, can I get a loan?
Mr. Mayor, point of privilege. After we make history with this vote, can we all come down and take a picture with our officers? Now, if you're undercover, we don't want you in the picture, but all the officers that can, take a photo with them for their service. Sure.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Showing none. Show the item passes.
Genty, bring your people.
I think all the officers just said that they're all undercover.
But they got away with it. Okay, so then I get to call it. No, I'm just. You can. Okay, then, so that's what I'm going to do. Because, no, I'm just saying, people don't allow you to call out anybody who's diocese. You don't.
Mr. Clerk.
All right, Mr. Mayor and Council, we're now on item 12.3, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, supporting the second annual Autism Superpowers Family Fun Day being held on March 28, 2026, waiving all fees associated with the uses of the city's showmobile, provided for adoption representation, provided for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Wilson.
Councilwoman Wilson. This your item. This your item.
Okay, yes. I was thinking about something. Yes, this is the first of its kind here in the city of Miami Gardens. And the Super Autism Power is a musical therapy approach toward children with autism. And right to date, to show you just how important that is to many families, we have enrolled almost 800 folks that plan to attend on Saturday with their children, not just to celebrate, but to use some musical therapy to assist them as they are interacting not only with their peers, but also in the public at large. We're very, very excited about what this offers to those special children and to those special families. And we would really encourage our residents to come out and be a part of it, to come out, volunteer, to come out and to share in the love and the fun that we have with those children who have autism. We are looking forward to many of our superstars. Mr. Ball Greasy, who has a son who is autistic, will also come to lend his support and lend his celebrity power to that afternoon. So we will be at the Oscar Brannan Regional Park from 1 until 5 o'clock p.m. Please, if you get an opportunity, come by and share some moments with our beautiful children and the most beautiful families that you can find right here in the great city of Miami Gardens. Thank you.
Need a motion on the item?
Motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Showing no opposition, item passes.
We're now on to quasi-judicial zoning hearings and gender disclosures.
Go ahead.
Good evening. Reginald White, Director of Planning and Zoning. Welcome to the quasi-judicial portion of the March 25th, 2026 City Council meeting. For those persons that will or may be speaking on an item on the agenda or commenting on any item, please stand up and be sworn in by the City Clerk. For the applicants, your item will be called to order by agenda number and by title of your request. When your item is called, please approach the microphone, and when addressed, please speak directly and clearly, stating your name and address for the record, and explain the reason for your request. Please note that all exhibits presented to the mayor and council will become part of public record.
All right, all interested parties who plan to speak on any quasi-judicial zoning item, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you provide this evening is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
All right, thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Can I poll the council on one of the quasi-judicial zoning items now?
You sure can.
Council members collectively, has any council member had any ex parte communications on item 13.2.2?
No.
No.
And will your decision tonight on both quasi-judicial zoning items be based on the evidence presented before you this evening?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Is
All
this
right,
13.1,
we're going to 13.2.1 right now.
right? Okay.
All right, in ordinance of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, amending Article 10, accessory uses and structures, Section 34-312, additional uses, And building standards, Article 11, development standards, generalized table of development standards, general, section 34-342, tables for development standards as outlined in Exhibit A attached hereto, providing for the adoption of representation, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for a severability clause, providing for inclusion in code, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager, and this is a public hearing.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Manager.
Before the manager, could we have the city attorney explain what quasi-judicial is for the people that's here for the first time? If that's okay with you.
That's fine.
Thanks for the heads up. Happy to explain it. So quasi-judicial determinations that are made by the council are different and distinct from their legislative authority. Everything else we've heard up to this point is all legislative. They can make a decision based on what they believe is the best thing to do. That is not the case with quasi-judicial. Quasi-judicial determinations they sit as judges, and that standard is strict scrutiny. It is not fairly debatable, which is what they do when they're doing legislative decisions. Strict scrutiny is it's from the Supreme Court of the United States, and basically it means they have to take a very close look at the evidence presented in the record. And that evidence has to be based upon competent, substantial evidence. Whatever ruling they make tonight, competent, substantial evidence. Can't be opinion that's not supported by fact. So that means as we're reviewing studies and all of those things, they have to look at that as a judge would look at it. I don't care if they like the application or don't like the application. If that application meets the requirements of the code, then it has to be approved. If it doesn't, then it does not. You will have testimony from experts on the city side as well as, I'm sure, the applicant. It doesn't mean that residents' comments are always dismissed, but residents' comments that are not based in facts and evidence are not to be considered as competent, substantial evidence in the record. Is there any other question, or is it clear?
No, that's clear.
All right.
All right, Mr. Manager.
Mr. Mayor, regarding 13.2.1, staff recommends it moving forward. There are no changes from first reading. Thank you.
This is a public comment on these on 3.2.1. Are there any public comments on that item? These are public comments for 13.2. And I would imagine that's 13.2.2. Okay. Any public comments on 13.2.1? Any written communication on 13.2.1?
No written communication, Mayor. Councilwoman Julian. Vice Mayor Stevens. Councilwoman Baskin. Councilman Leon. Councilwoman Powell. Councilwoman Wilson.
Yes.
Mayor Harris. I vote yes.
Motion passes 7-0. We're now on to item 13.2.2.
Microphone. Okay, it's back on now.
Item 13.2.2. In order to the City Council of the City of Miami-Gardens, Florida, approving the rezoning of that certain property located on southwest of 4200 Northwest 167th Street in Miami-Gardens, Florida, more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached here to from single family, R1 in paren, to heavy industrial, I2 in paren, providing for adoption representation, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing severability clause, providing for inclusion in code, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager, and this is a public hearing.
All right. Mr. Manager.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, at the last meeting, there was a discussion regarding certain types of requests from the community that were posed, and also some certain requests from the dais that were proposed, that staff would work with the applicant and move forward with some of those suggestions. Today, our planning director will give an overview and update on all of those things, and we'll move from there. Thank you.
Hello again, Reginald White, Director of Planning and Zoning. I'll just give you a brief overview, be very brief, of the changes that were made since last month's hearing. So the traffic analysis, I'll start with that. That was an item that was discussed with council as well with residents. We asked for that traffic analysis that was provided by the applicant. The applicant will go through the traffic analysis if there are any questions after my presentation. As far as an enhanced project design, this is something that was mainly requested from city staff. We wanted an enhanced design. What they did with their design, and I'll go through it, they're going to put up a wall with landscaping, trees. They're also going to move that driveway space where those commercial vehicles will be. They set back that quite a bit. It's going to be a total of about 76 feet or so from where the commercial vehicles will be parked to where 44th Court is. And last but not least, we wanted them to provide a restrictive covenant in agreement with the city to ensure that that expansion will stay a warehouse, so that in the future, it won't turn into a retail use or any type of showcase use. It's going to stay a warehouse use. They've agreed to enter an agreement. Very briefly, I'll just go through the slide and show you some of the changes that they made. What I will start with here, at the top, you will see that this is the top of your screen here. You would see that that is the site plan from February. This is today's site plan at the bottom. You can see that they have moved the driveway space considerably to create more of a buffering and spacing to the residential communities on 44th Court. And this is just a closer view of that buffering space that I mentioned previously. And this is the design really showing the buffering that city staff required. Some of the residents, they spoke about it, they wanted that as well. They're going to not only connect the sidewalk to make it more walkable, but they're also going to add trees, add landscaping, and they're going to have a wall that's a buffer along 44th Court. And this is just another view. So those are the changes that were made since last hearing. There were conversations with the community, with residents. I was a part of some of those conversations as well through email. I saw some of that dialogue going back and forth. And this is the design they came up with. This is an enhanced design. And again, the traffic analysis, if you all have any questions about that, the applicants are here to answer any of your questions.
I do have questions about the traffic concerns. Will the expansion cause more traffic in that area?
According to the traffic analysis, they didn't see that a significant increase with what is proposed with the warehouse. That was the results of the traffic analysis. And I just want to mention too, the use remains the same. They are moving their vehicles to another place so so it can circulate better. So the purpose of the expansion is to make their warehouse use more efficient.
So right now the entryway is off of
42nd.
42nd and the entryway that's in front of the warehouse, correct?
Exactly. There will be
no warehouse, no
Correct.
entries on 44th.
That's correct, Mayor. On 44th Court, there will be no entrance.
Okay.
At all.
All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
to the manager, can we, since we just got the traffic study, can we show them in full transparency the traffic
Yes.
study and have someone explain it?
Reggie, can you have him pull that up?
Indeed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Bill Pfeffer with Bowman Consulting, located at 1301 International Parkway, Sunrise, Florida. Bowman serves as the civil engineering, planning, traffic, and landscape consultant on behalf of the applicant. One of the reasons the traffic analysis shows, we actually analyze it in two different ways. The way it's actually going to function, which is it won't add any additional trips, and I'll explain the reason behind that. El Dorado has 19 locations across Florida. 14 of those locations are in South Florida. Those showrooms people go to, they purchase a couch, a table, and those shipments, those orders are fulfilled at this warehouse facility. All of the trips generated from this warehouse facility are actually generated from a sale that takes place at a showroom off-site. The reason we're expanding this warehouse is to better circulate those shipments internally. This is a very outdated facility. El Dorado's become popular. There's showrooms, 14 of them again in the Tri-County area, a lot of them in Miami. They've been a long-standing member of the community. And because of that popularity, as people order more furniture, they need to expand their warehouse so they can stage it on site better, they can get the trucks in and out of the site, on site in a more efficient manner, and the trucks can leave the site and deliver throughout the Tri-County area. By no means is adding square footage adding any points of sale at any of those showrooms. So the number of trucks entering and leaving the site today will be the number of trucks entering and leaving the site in the future. That's the first way we analyze it because that's how it's actually going to function. The Institute of Transportation Engineers issues a manual every couple years that analyzes trips generated by certain uses throughout the country and even regionally, and they come up with trip generation factors. We use that to also show that industrial use is one of the lowest trip generators per square foot than any use that a property can zone or have as a future land use. The 62,000 square feet of additional warehouse, according to that manual, would only add 7 peak hour trips. For comparison, if this property were to stay as it is today, you could build roughly 16 single family homes on it. That would be 2.5 times the amount of trips generated by that development than our potential rezoning. And that's according to the ITE manual, the Institution of Transportation Engineers, when in reality, the intent of this use is not to add any trucks. I just want to continue to reemphasize that because traffic, when we met with the residents, traffic was a common conversation. And getting everybody to understand what's actually happening here can be challenging because I know neighbors are always concerned about traffic and they want to make sure that everything's going to be safe in the future. And we have a signed and sealed statement from traffic engineers that have analyzed it in 2 different ways, how we understand the business to function and how we know it's going to function, and then also in accordance with a national standard. And even the national standard only shows 7 additional peak hour trips. I'd also like to point out that because El Dorado Furniture owns their current property and they're rezoning this additional property, we can maintain 0 driveway access on 44th Court. Any other development would need public access on 44th Court. It would add traffic to that neighborhood. This proposed application is the best way to maintain that the traffic pattern that's there today will be the traffic pattern that's there tomorrow. And I'm happy to answer any questions about that. I know as an engineer, sometimes we regurgitate a lot of numbers, and it sounds great to me, but if you guys have questions, I'll dig down into it as much as I can.
Any other question from the dais? No.
Thank you.
Public comments are open on this item. I have several public comment cards. So I'll start with Jonathan Gonzalez. Jonathan Gonzalez.
I'll try to make it fast. How are you guys? I would like to say thank you for everything you guys done to our city, and I wouldn't be here today if I didn't see this. My biggest concern is residential areas. They should be considered residential areas, not commercial. I feel like we have prime real estate in areas like 186 where those warehouses are used. Why couldn't we shift that area for industrial use versus commercial and focus more on affordable housing for our locals and promote, the young youth that comes in? I'm here just on behalf of them because I feel our community is great, and I love our community. I've been here for 10 years, and I love everything you guys done. Thank you. But again, I'm here just to speak on behalf of the youth and making sure that we have programs near the school to engage and making sure that we're continue to grow and promote these kids to the future of our beautiful city. And that's all I have to say, to be honest with you, is just focus on the people, and our people is the voice. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez. Is your address 17841 Northwest 12th Avenue? Yes, sir. All right, thank you. That's all I need. Maria Claudia Schubert Fonts. And guys, when you come up, please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, good evening. I'm Maria Claudia Schubert Fontes. I actually reside in Doral. I'm here on behalf of Catalyst Miami, but my address is 10063 Costa del Sol Boulevard. I'm here tonight on behalf of Catalyst Miami because we wanted to come out and support community members living near the lot that El Dorado is seeking to rezone. We're concerned about the environmental harms that this new designation will have on families, a community that lives near multiple sources of pollution, such as warehouses, highways, and shipping hubs is often referred to as a fence line community. And families living in fence line communities often face high levels of toxic air pollution due to living in close proximity to all of this industry. The schools and home near the proposed site are currently exposed to pollutants. However, there hasn't been data collected on the current air quality of the community. In order to properly evaluate the air, we would need air monitors and a health impact survey to understand how community members are affected by living near the highway, near the airport, and near industry. And so before redesignation, we're asking the council to assess the impacts of current pollutants and understand the way that health and well-being of community members is being impacted. And most importantly, to continue to engage community members in conversations about the vision that they have for their neighborhood. There's a lot of really active community leaders here tonight and who have been involved in this conversation, and it should extend past the traffic study. We urge the council to listen to the concerns that community members have shared and to act in their best interest here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Z. Spicer, and then Maya Passmore.
Z. Spicer, 545 Northeast 160th Terrace. Before I begin, I'm going to ask everyone to take a deep breath with me. Do you enjoy that fresh air? Imagine that you wake up in the morning and you live between the Opa-locka Airport and the 826. The breath of air you just took inside this room is likely cleaner than our neighbors who live in that area. Now imagine waking up one morning and seeing a sign saying that a residential area is going to be rezoned to heavy industrial. How would you feel about your lungs, the lungs of your children, and your neighbors, seeing that a residential lot that, as we saw in the PowerPoint, is filled with greenery is going to become the home for the expansion of a furniture store? Unfortunately, this is the lived experience of many of the people in the room here today. I've lived by the Golden Glades Expressway for the past 3 years, and just from that exposure, I've noticed my allergies getting worse and my ability to breathe to be more and more difficult each year. So much so that this week I was calling off of work and I was bedridden because I could not stop sneezing and experiencing the dust that's in my neighborhood. Although we heard from the consultant that allegedly there's going to be no increased traffic at this location with the rezoning, we can't say for sure that that's the case. As much as their studies show that, we don't know that that's the case. So like the previous speaker said, there ought to be at least time given for further studies and air quality monitors to be put in the area. And ultimately, this is a question. Do the residents of Venetian Gardens and this neighborhood have the say of what happens in their neighborhood, Or is any business able to come in, put together a PowerPoint, and decide what the road looks like despite not living there? And in addition, lastly, I'd say some of the money for this could be from the $400K going to an armored vehicle, and that air quality monitor is free and can be given to the residents here. So please spend your money wisely. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl Holder, you're next, and then Keisha Guyton.
All right, I'm gonna have everyone stand up again. This is the real time of standing up. I just want to show the support and again just how serious this is to us. It's not just the rezoning. This is our health.
Ms. Passmore, name and address.
Maya Passmore, 16350 Northwest 40th Court. This is our health, and as our councilwoman mentioned at the February 25th meeting, it's existing traffic issues that were not addressed, and that's on public record. So I hear Mr. Bill's issues that he brought up as far as just the amount of traffic or what he's proposing, but it's no traffic study has been done, and it comes off a bit biased because they're doing their own study saying what won't happen. So how, like the speaker before me spoke on, how do we know that? How are we evaluating that? So knowing that we have existing issues from the petitions that we've already submitted of 120, and like I said, the Omega submission of the letter of support, again, showing existing traffic concerns, have you all, as a DAIS, address those concerns with the developers ahead of time? And if not, can you pause to address a true traffic study? Because we're talking about 42nd Avenue that has existing issues as it relates to congestion, as it relates to the lighting, as it relates to how people turn. I have a resident here, I don't know if he's still here, but he had someone run into his gate on 42nd Avenue. Just yesterday, we saw someone idling in a big 18-wheeler tractor. So if you're not tracking that stuff and you're just, like Z said, giving a nice PowerPoint, how are we really assessing how this will impact us? The triple threat is the airport, the highway, and the fact that we're already sandwiched between the district. That's factual. And the other is the burden of the fact that we have an existing burden on the streets. How are you addressing that?
All right, thank you. Remember, guys, we got 2 minutes. When you hear that bell, that's your 2 minutes.
Hi, good evening. I'm Dr. Cheryl Holder. I was the medical director at North Dade Health Center from 1990 to 2009. Miami, which is right down the road here. Miami Gardens has a real special place in my heart because it was so instrumental in my career development. I was really excited to see what you've done about boxing with Dr. Michelle Powell, boxing in Miami Gardens. You're concerned about autism. It tells me that you are centered children and health, and that's why I'm here. Rarely you see doctors come to zoning meetings, because what we understand is that where you live, work, and play is more impactful for your health than your DNA. So when you looking at zonings, and I'm also executive director of the Florida Clinicians for Climate Action, and we look at the health impacts of what pollution does. So I come to educate you and also our community in considering any decision, especially as the planet warms, that increasing pollution in high heat worsens the impact. If you go to MiamiDadeMatters.org, you see the impact of the health burden that Miami Gardens. Everything with pollution worsens. Truck diesel exhaust releases particulate matter, 2.5, which gets into children's lungs, really tiny, increases the risk of asthma, lung disease, heart, and then cancer. The data is very clear. 1993 Harvard study, 6 studies, look it up. You'll see that its correlation is not, its causality of this kind of pollution in cancer. As you make these decisions, you should look at the health impacts significantly for a community. Because I was here when many of my patients slaved to work and pay for these houses, and they wanted to leave a legacy for their children. And they wanted their children to live healthy. And you've done so much to make Miami Gardens stronger. We know that the property values decline, black communities tend to get these kind of industrial industries and worsen the health outcomes. Do what you can for your health of your city. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Keisha Guyton. My address is 17431 Northwest 42nd Avenue. I'm in opposition to you all doing any zoning, redistricting it. Our community already don't have a lot of, our community already don't have enough inventory for housing. We need housing, and so therefore, to take up a space for profit over people is very dismayed for me. I feel like the area, it could be used better for either building up more housing, because we are in lack of living. You know, we have inventory is very is short here. And so I really would like you all to think about that we need to have more housing. And I also would just want y'all to take a deep understanding that El Dorado been around there. I've been there for over 53 years. And I want to know, in equity, have they put into our community? So they're asking us to let them have this space, inconvenience us, and therefore, they've been there over 50-something years. I'm 53, they've been there in that at least 40 or something years. So what have the equity have they done for our community? And so I ask y'all to keep it a resident. Do not zone it for that, because what are they doing for our residents? What would they be doing for our residents? So I'm just asking you all to rethink about changing that from zoning it to industrial, and keep it a resident.
Thank you. Fred Christian Jr. and Rhea Hughes.
Good afternoon and evening, council members. Fred Christian, address 20733 Northwest 9th Court, Miami Gardens, Florida, Hamlet at Walden Pond Community Apartments. I'm not speaking for their behalf today. I'm speaking as an individual, not for impact also, for the record. Miami Gardens is 33169, sorry about the zip code. Okay. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you and blunt. This is, you can't just plop something in the middle of somewhere. I've lived in other communities where they've done this. It is not a good idea. Okay? We've got a great warehouse site right on 215th. What would happen if we decide, or by the Publix warehouse, or down on 47th Avenue, make a deal with them, maybe build a store and put both there? It might work. Instead of trying this way we keep the community intact. Because I have a concern, as a disabled advocate and disabled person, Chief, I want to thank you and your department for saving that young boy's life this weekend that ran away, that was autistic, and he was special needs. He almost drowned in the Snake River Canal. If they didn't pull him out, he'd have been dead. 2 years ago, in the back of the Hamlet, Mr. Mayor, Councilwoman Powell, because you visited, you know the canal we have in the back of the Hamlet. We had a similar incident. If it wasn't for Miami-Dade Fire Rescue getting there, and also for the quick action of Miami Gardens Police Department, another child could have drowned. What if one of these trucks comes, boom, and a kid wanders in the street? We've had so many persons with disabilities that have had problems, been lost. Please think of us and our safety too. Think of the people in the wheelchairs. Think of the traffic concerns if they want to go across the street to save their neighbors. As Ms. Guyton said, we can use that space. We need the land for housing and rent. You know, our rent's going through the roof. We need that for housing, desperately. We need places to live. We can't afford our rents. Build some houses on it, maybe half retail. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Fred.
Chief, thank you. God bless. Great work.
Jonathan Knowles and Denise Brown, you're next. Yeah, you up, Miss.
Rhea Hughes, 3335 Northwest 180th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056.
I ask council to vote no for item 13.2.2, the rezoning from residential to heavy industrial. This change will fundamentally alter the character, safety, and livability of the Venetian Gardens community in our city. Residents chose this area with the expectation of a stable residential environment. Transitioning to heavy industrial zoning introduces and brings additional serious concerns, including but not limited to increased traffic, environmental impact, noise, and potential long-term threats and hazards to public health. Please listen to the voices of the residents who live, work, play, and raise their families in this community. A few of you on this dais often promote good health, such as Walk with the Doc. You organize and sponsor exercise challenges and events. You have breast cancer walks. You give nutritional health tips, etc. Remember, leadership is not just about making decisions. It's about how each of you engage and collaborate with residents affected by those decisions within your respective areas. This requires transparency, accountability, and above all, respect. When these standards are broken, it erodes trust, not just in one individual, but the council as a whole. Vote no. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. My name is Jonathan Knowles, 19841 Northwest Miami Court, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33169, representing myself. In my opinion, there should be a clear benefit to residents when zoning is changed. El Dorado at this location has been open for many years without the requested expansion. The gentleman from Bowman stated 16 homes could fit, and I think that is a great idea. Those homes would significantly benefit 16 families who will spend and circulate money within this community. In my opinion, additional square footage for El Dorado has limited benefits for the residents of Miami Gardens. Additionally, there doesn't seem to be any environmental review that has been done, which is concerning. Open land absorbs excess water during heavy rainfall, and there's potential impact to neighboring homes and roadways, and we all know that flooding is a continual issue in South Florida. Additionally, any study provided by the requester inherently has some bias as they are funding it and will not present any study that does not support their case. There is a lack of housing countywide. In my opinion, keeping single-family zoning is a better use for these 4 acres, and I would like to request a no vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Lynette Hickenbottom, you're next.
Denise Brown, 19821 Northwest 2nd Avenue, Suite 187, Miami Gardens. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm here tonight not just as a resident, but as someone who cares deeply about the safety and future of our community. We canvassed this area this past weekend, and I'm speaking up for residents who wanted to be here but couldn't, and some who wasn't even aware of this rezoning topic. This is not a simple change. It would bring heavy industrial activity into a place where families live, where children play, and where people have invested their lives. This is not just a zoning change. It's a decision that will affect real people every single day. We are talking about a potential and a decrease of property value, increase in truck traffic, noise, and pollution, right next to homes, and most importantly, near schools like Jan Mann and Florida Memorial College. These are children, residents, who walk these streets, who breathe this air, who deserve to feel safe in their own neighborhood. They should not have to be exposed to pollution. Families choose this area to live, and they trusted that this city would protect this as a residential area. Approving this rezoning breaks that trust. And once this door is open, it cannot easily be closed. One industrial project becomes 2 and 3, and slowly the character of this community is gone. I ask you to think not as policymakers, but as neighbors. Would you want this next to your home or near your children's school? Vote no.
Gail Cunningham and then Dahlia Perriman.
Good evening. Lynette Hickenbottom, 20832 Northwest 25th Avenue. As a lot of the residents that came before me, I support what they're saying. I hear a lot of stuff about the traffic analysis, and I heard very little from the people who are owning the place about the air quality. That is so important. This is my life every day. I'm a 73-year-old, 2-time cancer survivor, and I take asthma medications. And this is my survival every day. I would not wish that on anybody else. So I'm asking you guys, please consider. I have to check the air quality every day because I want to know. I'm a gardener, and I have to go outside. I must go outside. And when I go out, I must know that it's below 50, the air quality. I learned that because if it's above 50, it's poor air quality. We all remember March 6th with the burning of the warehouse, and what it actually affected me, and I live way over that way because the air. So I have to wear this when I come out, and I'm restricted in the time that I stay out. So please, please reconsider. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Gail Cunningham, 19001 Northwest 14th Avenue Road, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33169. What we've seen on the screens looks very nice. I wonder, when did this presentation happen with the actual people who live in that neighborhood? When the thought was brought about, who thought about them? When you sat in that little room and you made a decision, this is something that we should bring because we have this lay of land over on 44th Court. Were they in that room? When you brought it out of that room and brought it to a table and made the presentation look like they were at the table, were they at the table? Then you moved it from the table and now you were making an application. Was there any contact with them before you made the application? When you made the application and started going through the different plan reviews, were they there? No. But what I'm hearing and seeing is that there was a letter that was sent out after all those things happened. Then we see the yellow sign on the property. All of that has happened. Too late. We're moving from the front to the back rather than the back to the front. And it is not fair with everything that these young people have said here today that actually live in residential area C4 did not hear anything from their representative that I am aware of, and I would love to be corrected if I'm wrong, from their representative, Councilwoman Katrina Wilson. That is our representative. I know that we have Mr. White.
No.
And Mr. White is
Don't
here,
call my name.
and he
Don't call my
represents
name.
planning and zoning. As I said, if I am not correct,
call my name.
Hold on.
I feel that I have been interrupted, Mayor.
They are not allowed. They are not allowed. They are not to address me directly.
Ms. Cunningham. Ms. Cunningham. Ms. Cunningham. Finish your time.
Well, some of my time was taken because I only got 2 seconds. Bottom line is, If these young people were not told when it was in the little room by the person that they voted for or someone voted for to represent them, that I think all of this is null and void, and you as people who care about other people, and I love my city, and I love all of you, I don't hate anybody, but please think of the people, think of them as people that have feelings, concerns, and issues, and they have things that they need in their community. So please consider those things. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dahlia Perriman. Go ahead, Ms. Perriman. Name and address for
Good
the
evening. My name is Dahlia Perryman, 4001 Northwest 192nd Street. Thank you all for what you do. Thank you for all the residents who came out to share today your experiences. I'm one of the people who represents the cancer community as well. Won't go into that whole story, but that being said, 2 weeks ago, I received a bunch of messages from my city informing me that there was a fire at a warehouse behind my home. I saw it on the news, I let my neighbors know because we thought it was an imminent threat. Little did I know that when I walked outside to tell my neighbors about it, I'd be able to see the fire directly behind my house. I grabbed a couple of my belongings, my personal papers, and packed them up and headed off to work because I didn't know what I was coming back to. That being said, I think a thing that I have not heard mentioned was what are the long-term studies that have been done in reference to carcinogens, cancer-causing agents? What are the long-term disaster mitigation items that have been addressed? And where can this be seen as a resident of this city? I'd like to see it. I'd like to know that if something catches on fire in my community, that I know what I'm faced with. Those are some of the things that I would ask that you pay attention to. I'm personally asking for a no vote on this, but I would be interested in seeing those items before a vote came to the table. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any more public comments, Mr. Clerk? Any written communication?
All written communication that has been received has been forwarded to council and will be added to the minutes as an exhibit.
All right. I need a motion on this item.
Motion.
I second it. It's been moved and seconded.
I have a question.
Who seconded?
You got, it's open for discussion, huh?
Who seconded? I didn't hear.
I did.
The mayor.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few questions. I want a point of clarity on a few things. This property is currently owned by El Dorado. That's correct?
Mr. White.
It's owned by Capo and Sons Corporation. And
Gotcha.
El Dorado is
Is
the
there-
store that's on the property.
Correct. The store that's already on the property, correct?
Well, not on the rezoning item, but the neighboring property.
Correct.
Yes.
Do me a favor, Reggie. Can you pull up the picture of what the wall?
Sure. This is the wall.
Right. So, if from my knowledge, this is west of the residential neighborhood.
Correct. Well, in between where you're looking at now, there's two residential neighborhoods on each side. I can give you an overview of here. This is an overview right here. So that is what there is a residential community west of that vacant property.
There is, so there's the residential neighborhood is west of the property.
Correct.
And what's east of the property?
East of the property is El Dorado. What we also have further east, you have a residential community on 42nd Avenue.
that's on, right, so the El
Exactly.
Dorado property is currently in the middle.
Correct. It is right in the middle, northwest middle.
And the entrance to the property is on the west side,
Exactly. The entrance is on the east side on 42nd Avenue.
where the El Dorado property is already.
Yes. And there's also an entrance along the highway area as well, north of the property.
This is the entrance. So there's no entrance into the residential neighborhood?
There's no entrance from 44th Court. There is none. There will be a wall there with landscaping.
Okay,
So
so I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure, I want clarity on it, so y'all ride with me for a second. There is no entrance to this project on the avenue where the residential neighborhood is, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
The entrance to the property is where the commercial property is already existent.
Correct.
That's correct, right?
There's an existing, right, correct, on 42nd Avenue.
Right, so that is the only entrance and the only exit on the property?
There is also an entrance on 167th as well.
Right, in the front?
In the front. So
Where
there's
the
two entrances, one north on 167th and east on 42nd Avenue.
Right. So so again, there's no entrance or exit into the residential neighborhood.
There is, okay, so let me put it like this. On 44th Court, there is no entrance. Adjacent to
What's on 42nd Court? Residential?
42nd Court, there's residential as well.
Correct.
Correct.
And there's no entrance on 42nd Court on this project, should it pass?
44th Court, there is no entrance. 42nd, there is an entrance.
Right, 42nd, and what's east of 42nd Avenue?
East of 40, there's a residential community.
Right. So then there is.
Yeah. So if you're able to look at the map here, east to your right side, if you're looking at it, there is El Dorado, and then further east, there's a residential community. To the west, there's 44th Court, and further west, adjacent to 44th Court, there's a residential community as well. So El Dorado, the school, Florida Memorial is right in the middle of two residential communities. And Brand Smart as well.
Okay. Okay. I yield the rest of my questions for now.
Mayor, I have a couple questions. I don't know whether you can answer these. I'm kind of confused because I'm looking at your map. And this property has BrandSmart in front of it. It has the furniture store, then we have a Memorial Temple. And then I see a Miami-Dade Public School transportation with a whole bunch of buses and
Yes.
a fueling station,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And these buses are leaving out every single day,
Yes.
right?
They're there.
And they've been there for for a while. So my only the question I have at this point is I look at this property surrounded by what looks like industrial. I mean, we got a BrandSmart, we got an El Dorado, we got a bus station. How does this property, relative to size, why is it differently zoned than these other properties? It just seems a little odd to me.
Yeah,
And
the only
if I
thing
could get some clarification,
Mhm.
because it's surrounding buses that are fueled, right? So what is the zoning on those that are surrounding it pretty much like a glove?
Correct. So to the
And how
north,
does this end up with a different zoning?
correct. So to the north, you have Brandsmart, which is I-1. Industrial to the northeast is I-2. And then you also have some government zone properties for the schools. You have Florida Memorial as well. So those are the zoning districts. The reason why it's zoned improperly, zoning in the past in South Florida, but especially in Miami-Dade County, there was no planning process. There was no real planning thought to it. This is something that Miami Gardens kind of inherited, this type of zoning map, to where you have a single-family residential zone property adjacent to an industrial zoning property. This is something, of course, is not something we want, but that is what we inherited as a city. And again, this is zoning practices previously that was done not just by Miami, this was other cities in South Florida, and this is something that many cities inherited before planning practices were implemented to properly rezone areas.
What is the zoning for the buses? All those, lots of buses
I
there.
believe that I can go back to the slide. That is government property.
Even though it's buses with
Because-
fueling stations.
I believe because it's with Miami-Dade Public Schools.
Okay.
So at this zoning map, you kind of see the industrial areas in the north, and then you also see the government properties to the south.
Okay, so I guess the summary of your answer is that this plot of land end up in a different zoning, even though it's surrounded by what looks like industrial properties.
What I would say, the R1 parcel, this is not the norm. But again, these type of planning processes that were done previously, something that Miami Gardens inherited. And if you notice in the area, there's not an R1 property even across the street. There's a residential district for 2 units to be allowed versus single family. So this is really the only single family parcel in this area, in this vicinity, what I'm trying to say.
Mr. Mayor? Okay. Has the applicant met with the community already?
So yes, they have. They've been in communication through emails, and they've also met with members of the community.
Okay. And has the has the community listed what their interest was? Have they went back and forth with these applicants? Because what I'm saying, I hear a lot about environmental, and have they had these conversations? Because to Dr. Powell's point, we're looking at a bus depot which has on-site fueling, on-site car washing, which is way more pollution than that's already over there. I mean, than what this company says that they're going to bring. So if we're going to look at the area, we need to look at the area in totality, correct? Because if you have the buses that's already there that's giving off fuel every day, they have a fueling station on site, right, where they're fueling these buses on site in this residential area. Then you have a car wash where these buses come back off the road and are degreased on that property. So if we can get an understanding, we're talking about pollution. If that's our concern, then we need to look at this area in totality. And what were the demands that were asked of the residents to the applicant? Right. And if not, can we postpone this until they meet and see what we come up with and do an environmental study? But from my understanding, it looks like you have way more issues with your bus company and the fueling than you would have with the rezoning, if truth be told.
Yeah, I'll just state the facts. So the process for rezoning this parcel is to notify the residents within a half-mile radius. And we require them to do 2 notices, also a notice, an ad in the newspaper as well. They also require to post a notice on their property. And that is because they have to have a public meeting, which we're at right now, to present their zoning requests. So as far as that item, as far as it needing to be a public meeting, we're at the public meeting now. As far as the environmental concerns, I'm not sure if that communication went back and forth with the applicant or not. That's not part of our review from planning staff. If there's a rezoning item, we don't do a health analysis of the entire area. Those things are not required. As far as some of the things that were stated, I'm just letting you know the facts of the matter. And for rezoning requests, we went through everything as far as from the planning staff, and we're here today with the rezoning request.
Well, since they brought up the health issue or, air quality and things like that, I think that we should have, the council person who represents that area along with the applicant and the community should have another meeting. And we table this until they have that meeting and see what we can work out. We do have, within Miami Gardens, we do have some air quality testing that goes on because we have Formula One here. So air quality testing is not new to the city of Miami Gardens. And that way we can put, it's up in the air, right? Nobody knows. Right now, I just looked at my air quality. It says it's 47, right? I don't know what yours look like when you look at it. But if we address these concerns now that they have been brought to us and have a meeting and come back, maybe there's something that we can do. And if we see what that cost is to be able to do an air quality study in that area, because it may not be a pollution problem, right? So we can put that to bed or we can deal with it if it is. So that's my request, Mr. Mayor.
Council member, are you requesting that the applicant or do you want the city to do this air quality study? I just want to.
The applicant.
The applicant, correct.
Yeah.
Just want to notate that.
Okay, hold on. I'll get you. Mr. Manager, you had something you were going to say?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, go ahead.
When we take a look at the development here, the portion of that, and this may be a question for El Dorado, what percentage of an increase in the trucks that would be coming there to load and unload do you expect an increase to be? Is you follow me? Because
yes.
what they're basically saying is that this warehouse will possibly become a centralized location for the distribution of its furniture. And in doing so, they're going to add something, whether that's an additional bay or whatever the case that is. Is there an increase in the amount of trucks that would be coming there? And if so, what's the percentage?
Yeah, I would allow the applicant to state that.
So again, the conclusion of the traffic analysis and the way this warehouse facility operates, servicing the existing showrooms, there will be no increase in trucks coming in and out of the property.
So essentially, what this is about having a more efficient distribution to your existing customers.
Correct.
By adding this additional space
Correct.
that you have access to.
And correct.
Okay, so now when we talk about the quality of air, from your perspective, it is an existing status quo.
Correct.
It is nothing that will increase in terms of your trucks.
Correct.
And there has been no indication that the number of vehicles that you will be servicing will increase.
Correct.
Okay. The second question that I have is point of clarity. If there was an increase in the number of volume or in the volume of trucks going there, would an air quality test be required?
I don't believe so.
Can you tell me?
Mr. Mayor.
Just the fact, according to the process, it's not required to do an air quality study.
Okay.
And this is just according to our process.
Okay. So when you say it's not required, is our process, or is it a county process, or is it a state process? Is it a law? And if so, where is it? Local?
So it's a local law.
It's a local
law.
law.
A local law that doesn't have an air quality study requirement for rezoning items such as these.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I'm going to ask, since it's brought to our attention about the air quality, that we table this item and meet with the constituents, meet with the applicant, And that could be done if the councilwoman at her pleasure, or either the at-large council members could assist in that meeting, so that we can.
Well, let me ask the applicant, will they be willing to do a quality study?
So
That's not fair.
the question then be, on March 9th, after our first hearing, we met with a few residents at the request of the Venetian Gardens HOA and some others. And we took note of all of their concerns. We followed up with an email, and I responded, and environmental was one of them. And there are federal EPA standards with exhaust that every vehicle has to adhere to. You could put 100 trucks on a site. They're going to meet federal standard. They meet federal standard. So obviously that's our response to an environmental issue. But after that meeting, we already postponed one hearing. And we did so that we could properly address the concerns of the residents, because we're not trying to dodge them. But we have a piece of property that we can control. And we're getting thrown a lot of stuff that we can't. Even at the meeting that we had, there's incidents reports brought up on intersections all through the neighborhood. And I'm not saying there aren't incidents at those intersections. But we have a piece of property here that we can control. We increased the landscape buffer to almost 50 feet. It's a lot. We reduced the pavement area. We did an analysis. Not only did we do an analysis based on our understanding of how this is going to operate, but a national standard by the Institute of Transportation Engineers manual that says the increase in peak hour trips will be 7. You could put a lot of uses on this property that would never come before this board. They're going to generate more traffic and more pollutants. So what is the baseline? What are we trying to accomplish? I can chase existing conditions all day and postpone these hearings all day.
Well, what we're trying to accomplish is our residents made a concern. And we were elected to take care of our residents. So this is what we're trying to accomplish. So what we're going to do is we're going to table this item now, making a motion that this item is now tabled.
Understood.
What I'd like to do, sir.
There's a motion on the floor.
Yeah, there's a motion, but I wasn't.
There's a motion on the floor.
Okay, I'll let you talk. All right.
Did you second?
You got to go.
Second.
So the motion has, it's on you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, hold on. Go ahead.
All right, so there's a couple of things happening here, right? So let's unpack. Let's unpack what's going on here. I've seen the Facebook posts, the social media posts, I've seen the flyers, I've gotten your emails, I've gotten phone calls, I've had a chance to review this in its entirety. So let's just unpack this so that we can lead with facts and not lead with what folks are just saying for the sake of saying and not bringing in facts. Because the one thing that I can say is that I can appreciate that the applicant went out of their way to do a traffic study. They did the study because they heard your concerns. Is that not right? Okay. Property owners are protected under the Florida Private Property Rights Law. It's a thing. You can look it up on the state statute. I'm a property owner. I own a home, and so if I desire to make any enhancements to my home, I have to follow the zoning laws, the rules and regulations of the City of Miami Gardens, Miami-Dade County, and if it's in accordance with their laws and regulations, the city will grant it to me. If it is not, the city will deny it. The same thing with commercial properties, okay? Capo and Sons, they have the fundamental right to request a zoning change under the law, and they have correctly followed the process for this request. Through the chair, Mr. Manager, is that correct?
That's correct, Councilwoman.
Thank you. Now let's be clear. This property that they're seeking a zoning change to belongs to them. That property, it's an empty piece of property and it belongs to them, which means, hear me out, which means it's an empty piece of property that they purchased whenever they purchased it with the idea of someday and one day enhancing the property, whatever that enhancement looks like. I don't think anyone is going to invest in a piece of parcel and just allow it to sit, just to have it sit. You have concerns, and that is valid, and those concerns should be addressed. But I'm hearing that they're taking up space for the profit of the people. Don't give this. This is not our property, folks. This is their property that they purchased with their money. It belongs to them. And now, as time evolves, as business evolves, they see a need to expand for a warehouse. They see a need to expand for a warehouse. No, because we have to be clear. There's all this misconception and disinformation that is floating around into our communities, and it is not fair to our residents. It is not fair. So let's operate with facts and facts only. If this is going to cause asthma, show me where there was a study done or something that says it's going to cause asthma, okay? Furthermore, the owner has the right to build by right, with what the zoning laws allow. We've got to stop with the disinformation. We've got to stop with the misleading information that is leading into our communities. There's been plenty of opportunities to attend Meet Me Mondays, talk with the doc, emailing your council people, making a phone call to get the facts. The applicants are here. They've provided you with the information, right? Today's hearing is simply about a zoning change. Concerns about asthma, traffic, etc. would be addressed later through the permitting process. This council report that we had to go through, staff's analysis supports this statement, and I will read it to you. It's on page 767. It says, any unforeseen adverse environmental impacts will be required to be mitigated through DERM, the Miami-Dade County Department of Environmental Resource Management, prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for any proposed development on site. Furthermore, a building permit application will be required prior to any construction on the site. Anticipated impacts will be reviewed along with any required mitigation thereof. And all I'm saying, folks, is that we cannot, or the community cannot dictate to people what they can do with their private properties. Yes, you can express your concerns. You can express your concerns. But these folks have heard your concerns. They invested in a traffic analysis. They've come back and said that they're going to build a wall. They said that they're going to put up green space and bushes and trees, etc., and it's still not enough. All I'm asking is that folks are saying that people are going to have asthma and all this. Where's the information to back it up? Because I need to see facts. I don't operate with he say, she say in street committees. I need to see facts. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. There's been a motion on this, but I'm going to let you speak.
Yes,
Go ahead. Go ahead and talk.
There's been opportunity after opportunity to meet with them, to meet with the residents. And when we talk about air quality and we do the studies, who's to say that the air quality isn't compromised by the airport? Who's to say that this rezoning, that the law, that our policies indicate it's not required an air quality study? And if that has been existing and we've applied it after development after development after development, we're going to make an exception in this instance when they have come, they have followed the rules. They have followed the process that we have outlined in this city. Now, I remember bringing it up as a reminder when they came the first time. And I said, let's make sure that we don't have any traffic backup. Let's make sure that the flow of traffic in this area is tight work. Let's make sure. And you go and you check the record. They went back and they have complied. Now, what I'm saying to you is what has been disingenuous here is to spread a narrative that something underhanded is taking place when everything has been above board. When folks say, did you talk to your council person was the one who brought it up on the dais about the concern to ensure that there were not going to be lots of traffic, air issues, whatever the case may be, by this addition to an existing property. but rather a way in which we could ensure that the traffic would in fact flow. Now we get petitions. We get petitions where 50% almost are not even from the neighborhood, are not even from the community of people that would be most impacted from it. Again, I am not suggesting at all, because Miami Gardens is one community. So if anybody in our community wants to say something on this issue, I applaud it. But what I am saying also is this was not any underhanded thing at all. This was not something that anybody tried to play a shell game. When these folks came, we gave them the information that they needed to comply, and they have done that according to our own personnel. Not according to me, not according to anybody, but for the experts that we hire to advise us and to guide us through these processes. And so again and again, what I'm saying is we have to be fair and equitable. We've got to follow the law. And they deserve it. They deserve it. I understand how you feel. I understand, where you're coming from. I get it. But you know what? These are business people, and they're citizens, and they're human beings like you.
Mr. Mayor.
All right. There's a motion on the table, and it was already seconded to table this item.
The motion was to table the item. Like I said before, they brought some issues to us, and again, it might not be the cause of this that we're looking to rezone to build, but Councilwoman Wilson just brought up a good point. The airport is right there. The bus depot is right there. So if they have an issue with their air, it's our responsibility to look into it, since they brought it to us. Since they brought it to us, it's our responsibility to let our people breathe.
No.
I don't disagree.
No. So this might have just brought it to the forefront. I understand we're in the zoning, but we need to make sure that if this is an issue, whether we pay for it or they pay for it, we can vote that we pay for it. They're our residents, to make sure that we do an air quality study so that we can have the right things in place. What we did in C2, when Formula One came over there, we have air quality testers throughout our community to make sure that our people have the quality of air that they need. So you brought up a very valid point. Airport, we talked about the bus depot, we talked about car washes over there. Okay. So we may need to do a deeper dive into this community to see if there is an air quality issue.
And you know something?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to continue to do this. We're not going to continue to do this. I will close this meeting out, and we will be done for this evening without this item being heard.
I don't disagree with an air quality study. What I disagree with is penalizing a business that may not be responsible for the air quality issue. If we are concerned about our residents and we believe that all of the factors that we've just enumerated, that the airport may be a problem, that other businesses in there may be a problem, then what we need to do is do a comprehensive study to really discuss what this area is subject to, but not at the expense of someone who has complied with the law, with our own laws. They meet the standards to build on their property. And what we have done is that we don't have anything on the docket to really be able to say this is a problem and no further development. This is a problem and we're going to hold off. But what you have is a business that, just like every single one of us, has complied. And I'm not for our residents suffering. That's not what I'm for. But I'm not for being disingenuous and unfair and equitable to somebody and a business who has been in this community for 40 years or more, and they have complied. This is not a fly-by-night company. This is a company that has made its livelihood and home right here in Miami Gardens. And I think that the hospitality that we give to our residents should be given equally to our businesses. And they are taxpayers just like all of us. So here's what I'm saying. I'm not against any type of study. If there is anything that we find harmful to our community of residents, by all means, let's go ahead and do it. But at the same time, they have a business and they have complied. And it would be unfair to them to deny them something that they have met the qualifications. We're changing our own laws midstream with no evidence that they are going to have an impact. And listen. As long as I'm here, I'll advocate for what the residents need and want and the whole 9 yards. But our residents are inclusive of our businesses too. And it's a fair deal for them to get what they have judiciously complied with, as well as to continue with air quality experiments, testing, and all sorts of other things, so that we can determine whether or not this community is in fact subject to. And then we can govern our laws accordingly after that for any further development that goes on. And what they are offering to do is not significant. It's not a whole big old. It is very small in comparison to the warehouse itself. So it would be equally as unfair from where I'm standing. It's equally as unfair to them as it would be unfair to our residents not to explore the issues that they have brought to the table that they're concerned about. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's and.
And I agree with you, and I think by us tabling the item, we can get in the right posture so we can actually, if we can pay for the air study. We can take a vote when we're out of quasi-judicial. We can make a motion to take a vote that we pay for the air study, the air quality study, but we table the item so that they're not burdened and we get time to get back to them. Because
okay,
again,
how long does an air quality test take?
We'll have to get with the experts. I'm
So
not
you
the
don't
expert.
know. So this
I'm not the expert.
No,
but if
I'm
our
not
people
saying-
are asking for it, then we need to be able to assist them.
No, I don't. Listen, what I'm saying is you don't know. So we could be actually talking about a year from now. We could be actually talking about 6 months from now. We could be talking about a lot. We don't know the
But
extent.
these are our residents. Don't they deserve it?
No, I'm not talking
No, I'm just
about.
saying, don't they deserve it?
Don't do that.
No, I'm
Reggie.
asking you because you're
Okay,
giving
let me-
a
let me-
timeline
okay, yeah.
on the people that live
Okay,
here.
let me tell you.
this-
I just told you.
You're
just
putting
then.
a timeline.
No, don't put no residents on
We're
me, dog.
titled,
Don't do that.
we're going to,
Don't do that, because that's
we're gonna
that's
reset,
unacceptable.
we're gonna reset this thing
No,
for
that's
5 minutes.
unacceptable, sir.
We're gonna reset this
Don't
for
ever do
5
that to me.
minutes.
No,
Because
you're
I care
putting the
about my
timeline.
minutes.
I'm asking you.
I don't play games.
It's closed.
Don't you
All right, I call this meeting back to order. Mr. Clerk, well, we had a motion on the table that
Yeah, right now,
had been moved and seconded.
Yeah, we have a motion to table, moved in second, moved by Councilman Leon, second by Councilwoman Powell. Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I do need some clarification on this. Since it's a quasi-judicial item, the motion to table, can it be a date specific?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I want to retract my motion to table, and
You're going to withdraw your
I'm
motion?
going to withdraw my motion to table.
All right,
So
motion's withdrawn.
he's withdrawing his motion to table, so now we're on the item itself.
Yes, and we already have a motion and second to.
We had a
approve
motion
the
and a
item
second
as
itself,
is.
so call the roll, Mr. Clerk.
Councilwoman Baskin.
No.
Councilman Leon.
No.
Councilwoman Powell.
No.
Councilwoman Wilson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Julian.
El Dorado pays taxes here in our city just like we do. Let's not forget that. I vote yes.
Vice Mayor Stevens.
No.
Mayor Harris.
I vote yes.
Motion fails, 3-4. All right, there are no resolutions, public hearing. We're now on to the reports of the mayor and city council.
Mayor, I have no report.
Ms. Julian?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Baskin? No report. Ms. Wilson? No report.
No report.
No. All
Motion
right, I
to
need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
adjourn.
Motion.
Moved and seconded, show this meeting adjourned.